and welcome to What's New. And tonight we have Mick Swin, St. Genevieve's Fire Chief. And Iris, do you want to introduce him and what he's going to be doing?
Okay. Mick is our fire chief, as Mary Ann said, and he has a PowerPoint that he wants to show about the tax proposition that not him, but the city wants to pass for the fire trucks. So if we can go into the PowerPoint now.
And then questions from anyone who wants to call in.
We have a phone. We have a phone, so be sure to call.
And it works.
Yes, it does.
And you can ask any question you want. If he's not prepared to answer it,
I'll make something up.
he'll make something up. Oh, okay, here we go.
On January 16th, the St. Genevieve Board of Aldermen approved an ordinance to place a general revenue tax increase on the ballot to be voted on April 2nd. The Fire Department has requested this increase to establish a fire apparatus replacement program. This presentation is intended to provide the residents of St. Genevieve with the facts on this issue. Ballot language will state, Proposition number 1, shall the general property tax levy of the City of St. Genevieve, Missouri be increased in the amount of 13.4 cents on $100 valuation, allowing the Board of Aldermen to dedicate $80,000 annually towards funding a fire apparatus replacement program. The fire department needs a fire apparatus replacement program because, unfortunately, our city does not have sufficient funds to purchase an aerial fire truck due to the high cost of this type of apparatus. In the past, the city has always had to go to the voters to get the funds to purchase a fire truck. Currently, the fire department is keeping apparatus an average of 30 years. The apparatus replacement program will allow the city to replace these trucks approximately one truck every 10 years. When approved, the tax will allow the city to set aside funds to replace 3 primary fire apparatuses, 2 pumper trucks, and 1 ladder truck. The first apparatus to be replaced is the oldest apparatus in the fleet. The department's current ladder truck is a 1982 Spartan chassis with an emergency 1 body. Ladder trucks used by fire departments today have several components. First, it is a fire truck, which means that it has the capacity to carry water, fire hose, and equipment to the fire. Second, it has a water pump, which means that it has the ability to move large amounts of water through the hose line to fight fire. In the case of a ladder truck, it can also supply water to a large capacity nozzle at the tip of the ladder. Third, a ladder truck has an extendable ladder, capable of rescuing victims and fighting fires. The department's current ladder truck is 31 years old. In the past 31 years, there have been many advances in fire apparatus safety and technology. Our ladder truck is required to pass 2 annual NFPA inspections in order to be certified by the Insurance Service Office. The current ladder truck has recently failed its ladder safety test and also the fire pump capacity test. Due to the current truck's age and mechanical condition, it does not meet NFPA standards for safe operation of an emergency vehicle. Newer trucks have NFPA required higher ladder safety rails to allow firefighters and victims being rescued to climb or descend the ladder with increased safety. Newer ladder trucks have the pump operator's work area elevated so that there's less chance of electric shock if the ladder contacts an energized power line. The newer ladder trucks locate the operator in a safer position well above traffic. The newer trucks have improved visibility due to NFPA required red and yellow chevrons. Newer trucks have improved safety features such as 3-point shoulder harnesses, anti-lock brakes, and stronger cabs that meet the NFPA standards. Ladder turntables are guarded on newer trucks to prevent firefighters from being caught by the moving ladder turntable. Our current ladder truck does not have NFPA required equipment such as seats with holders for self-contained breathing apparatus. Our current aerial apparatus cannot reach a third story of a structure without being positioned within the collapse zone of the structure. By positioning a truck in the area where the walls can collapse, we expose firefighters and trucks to damage. A longer ladder on a new ladder truck will provide additional protection to our community by accessing the second floor and above to allow rescue of trapped occupants. Our current ladder truck will not allow the fire department to safely reach the second floor of any school building in town. A ladder truck allows for quick supply of large volumes of water to multiple story buildings and protect adjacent structures. This is also true for large single-story manufacturing plants with higher fire load for quicker extinguishment of fires. A new ladder truck will provide additional rescue capabilities for buildings such as Valley High School, St. Genevieve Middle School, St. Genevieve County Memorial Hospital, multi-level apartment complexes, all downtown businesses and churches, the aerial ladder can be very effective on any structure or event that has a significant setback from a street. This is a fire that occurred in Festus, Missouri on November 3rd, 2007. Note the construction of the buildings in this slide compared to our downtown area. The construction is remarkably similar. The Festus Fire Department deployed a heavy stream of water from their ladder truck to keep this fire in check until help from neighboring departments arrived. Because of the quick application of a large amount of water, the fire department was able to confine the damage to only a few structures. The Festus Fire Department, with help from neighboring fire departments, were able to save the entire downtown area from burning down. In order to receive help from other fire departments, we have a strong mutual aid agreement in place. This agreement allows us to request help when needed, as well as to help other departments when possible. ISO stands for Insurance Service Office. ISO is an independent agency that uses mathematical formulas to determine a fire department's ability to save lives and property. Using this data, communities are assigned a fire protection class rating from 1 to 10 based on ISO's calculations, with a protection class 1 being the best. This rating is used by the insurance industry to determine insurance rates. The St. Genevieve Fire Department is an ISO Protection Class 4. The measurement system used by ISO assigns points based on criteria that evaluates the fire department, the city water system, and our 911 system. The points assigned to the fire department evaluate training, equipment, and tools, as well as the size and type of fire apparatuses we have. In 2007, our current aerial apparatus provided our department with sufficient points to acquire a protection class 4 rating. We know that if we do not replace our current ladder truck, the points lost by this apparatus will push St. Genevieve into a Class 5 rating. This will cause an increase in fire insurance premiums in our city. By instituting a replacement program, we will be able to maintain this rating now as well as the long-term future. polled several local insurance agencies in our community and asked, how much will the change from a Class 4 ISO rating to a Class 5 rating affect cost of my insurance? The following is an example of what we were given by local insurance agencies. As an example, the average value of a residential property in St. Genevieve is about $100,000. If we fall from an ISO Class 4 to a Class 5 rating, your premiums could possibly increase by $100 to as much as $140 per year. The tax increase for a property worth $100,000 will only be about $25.50 a year. The average value of a commercial property in St. Genevieve is in the neighborhood of $300,000. If we fall from an ISO Class 4 to a Class 5 rating, a commercial premium could increase as much as $600 per year. The tax increase for a commercial property worth $300,000 will only be about $129 per year. These are only estimates and are figured on a base rate for coverage. Valley Grade School is 3 stories from the ground level and 4 stories from the street. The interior of this building is constructed of old heavy timber. A fire on one of the lower floors of this building could trap many students on the upper floor. These are our children and grandchildren. If they cannot reach the fire escape, how do we rescue them without a ladder truck? The St. Genevieve Middle School is almost 5 stories from the street. We cannot reach this side of the building with our current aerial truck. A tactic that would need to be used on this structure, if it were to catch fire, would be to deploy a large quantity of water from a ladder truck to quickly knock down the fire before rescue operations could take place. The additional reach of a longer ladder will enable us to accomplish this task very effectively. Valley High School is 3 stories from the playground side. Again, how do we rescue not just one child, but several classrooms of your children trapped in this structure without the use of a ladder truck? Just think of the many other buildings that we have in our city that have the high potential for a loss of life. What about our churches, government buildings, and community buildings? We pack them full of people without a thought of being rescued in the event of a fire or natural disaster. When you look through the eyes of a firefighter, you can see many examples of this. So it's not always about the money. Life safety is our highest priority. The volunteer members of your fire department are very proud of the part that we play in the community's ISO Class 4 rating. We are also taxpayers, too, and we understand that raising taxes is never a popular thing to do. We firmly believe that the most honest and fair way to approach this issue is to let you, the voters, decide. This fire department does not belong to the firefighters or the city government. It belongs to you. What do you want your fire department to be? We, the members of your volunteer fire department,
Okay, we're back. If anyone has any questions about the video or anything, they're welcome to call. The number is 883-7675.
675. Watch me have it backwards again.
Probably. Don't that happen a lot? We always do that.
Right there it is.
Is it right?
7675, okay.
Hey, we're getting
Oh,
better.
look, Don put it up there for us. Yay.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see, I guess we can start off with the proposition that we read. If you want to explain, talk a little bit about the amount of tax, the tax
Okay,
rate.
sure,
Just
sure.
give a little insight to the people that might not have saw the PowerPoint or just tuning in.
Sure, okay. You know, well, we've got a caller already, I guess.
Welcome. Do you have a question?
No, I have a comment.
Oh, okay, feel free.
Okay, let's start off with, I want to say that I am damn proud of our fire department. What the chief and his staff has been doing for years, and it just, you know, this proposition is only to help the citizens of St. Genevieve. For these people to go out and devote their time to volunteer, and they're there. And I know I've heard so many comments about, oh, how come there's, you know,
Turn
full
your
fire trucks out there
Turn
just
your
doing brush
TV
fires.
down, please.
Well, the reason why that they're there,
You want to turn your television down a little bit?
I can do that.
All right, thank you.
And the reason why they're there is because they're prepared. They're well trained, and they're there to protect the citizens of St. Genevieve. And I am really, really proud to live in a town that has a volunteer fire department like this. You know, it's not that they want this equipment, it's just that they need it. And everybody needs to realize that, yes, nobody wants to pay more taxes, but this is a real cheap insurance policy. I mean, stop and think about this. I mean, don't think about yourself, because how many people actually have a fire in their lifetime? But what about the people that do? It might be your dad, might be your mama, it might be your kids. Stop and think about it. When you lose stuff like that, at least you might not lose your life because we have a volunteer fire department like this. You know, material things can be replaced, but your life can't. We just had this over, a week ago. 2 people lost their life. These guys did everything they possibly could, but they couldn't save them. But it just doesn't matter, just like ambulance or doctors, whatever. You can't save everybody, but they did everything they possibly could do. I commend the fire chief. I commend the city of St. Genevieve volunteers, and I hope this thing passes. Thank you.
Oh, thank you
Thank
for
you.
calling in.
And I want to thank that person too for the comment. That was very nice. We very much appreciate that. And it's because these guys do this for nothing. We have a heck of a bunch of guys. We do a considerable amount of training, and that training is reflected in these numbers that we talk about when we talk about ISO. So we
How many
appreciate
volunteers
that.
do you have, Mick?
Well, thank you. I'll use that as a plug. We
Okay.
have 28 spots for volunteers. We only have
Wow.
26 of those filled at the moment. So we've got 3 spots out there for anybody who is a young, able-bodied person and wants to put in some time training. We've got time for you, and we can keep you busy. So, thank you for asking that.
No, you're welcome.
Okay, the proposition.
Yes.
Where we've had to come to with this issue is that the 3 apparatus that were talked about in the video are the ones that we're going to replace. We have 8 apparatus altogether, but we're only looking at replacing 3 of them. We've never ever been able to fund a vehicle from the city. We've never ever been able to write that check because there's just not that much money laying around. With this truck and it not passing the certification test that it has failed, not only for its pump but its ladder, now puts us in jeopardy with this thing called ISO. And as the video said, ISO is an independent organization that will rate your community with a mathematical formula, and then that rating, insurance companies use that to sell us fire insurance. So if you're in a class 4 rating, you're going to have better fire insurance premium rates than someone that's in a 6 or a 7. So the unfortunate thing is that this particular truck has enough bearing on that rating that it will slip us back into a class 5. So that means we believe in higher insurance premiums. So I want to call people's attention to the St. John Herald, next week's paper. Toby will have an interview with several insurance agencies, and obviously they can't take a side in this
Right.
this issue, but they want you to call them to ask them how your insurance is going to be affected by it. And we use averages when we talk about our, the residential properties in the city, and we use averages when we talk about the commercial properties in the city. So the average home in St. Genevieve is about $100,000. The insurance people say that your insurance premiums could go up about $100 to $140. The tax is only going to cost you $25.50 a year. Now, understand, that's the average. So the folks that have residential properties or your total assessed value is less than that, you're not going to pay more. The people that have homes, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 homes, they're going to pay more. So
Right.
it is the average. And in this day and age of people that have more should pay more, we think this is the fair way to go.
And you did say that people can call you if they're concerned about what their rate's going to be? Like
I'm concerned
on
about what my
average,
rate's going to be.
No, I mean, as far as the ISO, like if they're,
Well, in any firefighter, we
Well, the
have-
taxes,
yeah,
I
we-
guess,
we
is
have
what
a
it
list.
is, yeah.
We have a list, and we're not publishing that because it's based on base rates.
Mm-hmm.
The best thing to do if you're concerned, is this a good thing for me? Call your insurance company.
Mm-hmm.
So read that article in next week's paper, and
Well, I was-
hopefully there'll be some explanation.
I guess I was meaning the tax rate for your house.
Yes.
like-
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. If anybody's got any questions on that, feel free to call in or with a comment.
And this is an ongoing.
This will be an ongoing tax, yes, and this is the reason why. Years ago, we set these 3 main vehicles up. We purchased them and spaced them out in age about 10 years apart. The NFPA, which is the National Fire Protection Association, those folks give the fire service the indication that, you ought to be changing your trucks out about every 15 years. You know, the folks in St. Louis, they're changing their trucks out about one every 10 years because they use the heck out of them. You get out in the urban areas, those folks, the fire districts and things, they're changing those trucks every 15, 20 years. Obviously, we're not using our trucks as much as St. Louis.
Right.
So our trucks are lasting in that 25, 30-year range. So if we have 3 trucks in the program, and these are the 3 trucks that pertain to this ISO rating, then every 10 years, we're going to have another truck that's going to need to be replaced. So if you look at it like that, every 10 years, your insurance rates could be in jeopardy every 10 years if we don't replace that particular truck that comes up, for renewal. So what we're looking for is we've set the rate to where we can purchase a truck, pay it off in 10 years, and then we're able to go purchase another truck, pay that off in 10 years, and keep that going.
And then you're not going to have to keep coming back to the public saying, we want a tax.
Yes, and that would be the best thing for me and my guys. I mean, you got to understand that we're firefighters. You know, we all have real jobs, we all have families, we do this on the side, we train on the side. We're not politicians. We don't like coming to the voters to ask for money, but you know, in this case, we've taken on this burden, and that's what we want. We want to go back to fighting fire and not politics.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
But it's like everything, you have to update.
You do have to update. I mean, I wrote an article that says whenever your vehicle starts losing oil and you've got oil stains and it's not getting you to church and back on Sunday, you know, I could ask all of you, other than Iris, she's probably driving a 57 Chevy, but I could ask
I
you
don't
two-
drive that. It's too uncomfortable.
I could ask you two ladies, what's the year of the vehicle you're driving? And I'm sure it's not 31 years old. So, you know, that's kind of where we are.
Yeah, well, mine's not
Mine's
31
5.
yet.
I did 27.
And those old ones
Oh,
are not
7, yeah.
comfortable at
No.
all. No way. Okay, let's see. We have a question here about why an old ladder truck was bought in the first place.
Okay.
I mean, once it's in
Yeah,
99.
I kind of touched on that and that's when we actually went to the city board in '99 because we had 3 apparatus. But we're going to pause there, I guess, and take a call. So,
Hello there. Welcome to What's New. Do you have a comment or a question?
I just want to ask one simple question.
Sure, go right ahead.
Are you required, or do you have to put your name when you ask a question?
Oh, no. You're,
Well, I would prefer
You
that
say
the
speaker.
people who just called in earlier would give his name. He supported the fire department.
That's his
And,
opinion.
yeah.
I would like to know who that was.
That
Oh,
would be up to him to
Yeah,
disclose.
he can disclose.
Yeah, but we can't have a bunch of firemen call in in support of this.
Do you want to
Oh.
give your name?
What?
Do you want to
I'll
give?
give you my name.
Okay.
My name is Carl Rayner.
Okay. I think I just asked, addressed one of your questions to Mick, and he was starting to answer it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. And I saw who that was that called in, and it was not a fireman. Okay?
Well,
So if you have another comment, or do you want him to answer the questions that you put on the
just go
paper?
ahead and answer the questions I presented on the paper.
Oh, okay, thank you, Carl. Glad you
Thank you.
called. I thought that's who that was. Okay, you can finish your answer now.
why we bought a used truck?
Well, this is
We might not
great.
get to answer any
This is
questions.
great.
It's wonderful.
Hello and welcome. they
I
hung
guess they're
up.
going to let us answer that first
Yeah.
question, maybe.
Yeah.
Back in 1999, we were looking at as a fire department and as taxpayers at that. And you got to understand, with being volunteer fire department or volunteer firefighters, we're taxpayers too. So this is affecting us as much as anybody. So
You're not going to get a chance.
Okay, welcome.
Okay.
You have to press talk first.
Okay, I think I have you now. Hello? Try it again. Next time I'll do better.
Okay, we try to be real quick here. We came to the city board and we, at that time, that's when we were looking at spacing these trucks out every 10 years. Because we knew we had a truck that was 30 years old, 32, 33 years old. We came to the city board to replace that truck.
There we go. I got you right this time. Welcome to What's New.
Okay, I got another comment.
Sorry about that. Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Weeder, my name is Dave Pinkley. Public Works Director for the City of St. Genevieve, and yes, I support the St. Genevieve Fire Department. Because I know what it's like to have a department that's not funded by the city, where we cannot get proper equipment to do the job that we're supposed to do. And no, I'm not a firefighter. I always have supported the fire department, and I was there whenever Mr. Sweat fell off the ladder and died at the rest home, and I tell you what, after that, it touched my heart, and I am a sole supporter of the fire department, and I always will be. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Dave.
you.
Dave, thanks for your comment. So back to why we bought this used apparatus is the fact that we were looking at, we knew that we had to space these trucks out so we didn't have two trucks come due at the same time. And if that happened today, instead of replacing a truck that's going to cost you $600,000, you might be needing to replace two trucks that might cost you $1 million. So we've been trying to be proactive about this since 1999. So when we came to the Board of Aldermen, we had a truck that needed to be replaced. We came to the Board of Aldermen at that time and said, you know, we've got to replace this. At that time, that board asked us, why don't we have a ladder truck? Quite frankly, I don't know really what we said at that point in time, but long story short is they gave us a budget. We went out and looked and we found a truck with a ladder on it that fit the bill and fit into that spacing that we needed, and there we go.
That began the ladder truck
That
for St.
began the
Jen.
ladder truck saga. So,
Okay.
you know, firemen didn't go out and lobby for that. I mean, it was the foresightedness enough of that city board at that time to ask us to do that, so.
Okay. And the other question was about the proposition, the rate on the Proposition 1, which I think you've probably already answered already.
Okay.
And let's see, the TIF money that was in the paper this week about the Point-Based Shopping Center, 2015.
Right.
You want to give a little comment about that?
Well, we had been talking with the city about replacing this truck for the last 5 years. And that was potentially, we potentially had the ability to purchase this truck out of that TIF when that TIF basically went off, and then there was additional tax revenues that would be able to
Right.
come in. The problem that we face today is the truck has failed these certification tests. To put money back into it would cost twice as much as the truck is worth today. So the problem is to wait until 2015, we would have lost that ISO rating in the process.
Right.
So looking at the numbers and the way the numbers look to us, it will be cheaper to raise taxes and to purchase fire apparatus, keep your equipment good for your fire department, than to let your insurance go up and then try to buy a fire truck out of the TIF money. And people would already be mad because their insurance rates already went up. So we thought it was as good a time as any to do that.
Like a catch-22.
What'd we say? You can't win, you can't lose that one. So
No, you're damned if you do,
and
you're damned if you
I
don't.
didn't think I could say that.
Well, we did, didn't
Okay,
we?
thank you, lady.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, in this economic situation, we're all in the same boat. But if we would probably still have as much opposition in 2015
Right.
by the city coming and says, well, we're going to spend $600,000 of that money and go buy a fire truck. that would be as controversial as this would be. So without having to lose that, you know, and I'll guarantee you, there are people stacking up for that money in 2015.
Oh, I
And
bet you.
probably the streets will be really a bad issue by then, because they're getting really bad right now.
So, and we've always sort of had that issue that certain people want to pit the street department against the police department and the police department against the fire department when it comes to budget time. Who's worth it? Who gets more money? Who needs more money? And that's a game that we really
But they're all
shouldn't
worth
have
it
to
in
play.
their own way.
That's right.
Right.
And it shouldn't be played one against the other.
That's
It
correct.
should be a community adjoining.
That's
But
correct.
as
there's
long as
only-
you have politics, you're gonna
Oh,
have
God.
that.
Exactly.
And there's only,
Yeah,
and seriously,
exactly.
That's for sure.
I've been dealing with the city budget now for 30 years, and there's just not that money to go around.
No, it
It's a
isn't.
shame that we have to do that, but
Yeah.
Because we're a little short of money.
we're all just a little short of money.
Yes.
And when TIF goes off, there's quite a few businesses out there where they'll be getting tax revenues.
Yeah.
So it's going to help the city in the long run.
I would hope that, I would hope so. So if we're not there at that table begging for that money, I mean, hopefully that money will be used for a lot of other things.
Right.
So you
Sounds
haven't
good.
got much longer, so if you got a question, you better be calling.
Have you got another
Yeah.
one on your list there, Iris?
I think we've covered everything that people have mentioned to me that I know of and that I found by searching around. You guys got anything?
No, I think you're
Have you heard any comments that you want to address? Those are just things that people have said to me, and I picked up out of the paper and whatever. So I think this will be repeated, so if anybody needs to watch it again, it'll be on at 1 o'clock this morning, and then it'll be repeated
At
every,
seven, is it
it's 7.
7 tomorrow?
I think it's 7 in the morning.
yeah.
I think
And
so.
then also, it'll be on video on demand at stgentv.com. So it'll be available to watch it several times after tomorrow. I think he puts it on.
Yeah, I think it's on at 1.
We should
in the
know,
morning,
but we don't.
7
7 and
o'clock,
7.
And
is it?
1 o'clock in
Just
the
have to be
afternoon.
Okay.
Let
That's
me-
because we're old and we
Yes.
cannot
And we
remember.
can't
We have
remember.
senior
Someone would
moments.
make a
I
list.
understand that totally.
We have senior moments.
My
Lots of them.
firefighters call me the sticky note king, because I write my little sticky notes.
Yeah, but then I lose them and forget what I put on it.
Let me go over one issue that I've heard.
Okay.
Is the fact that, well, we just bought you that new firehouse, and we just bought you that new fire truck.
Oh, I've heard that
You know,
too.
what else you want? Why do you need that? Well, if you recall where we were down in the now, which is a very nice little cafe downtown, and I think it is a lot better a cafe than it was a firehouse. But we were so crowded in there, and the fact that we needed to buy another fire truck at that time to keep from losing our ISO rating at that time. The fire truck that we were going to buy would probably have not fit in that firehouse with the other equipment we had. So in swapping the pocket basically with the tax, the sales tax from the levy to the fire department was a good thing. And the issue then was that we had to buy another fire truck in the process. The reason we needed to buy a fire truck is because that truck that we were replacing was 32 years old at the time that we replaced it. So it was that time in that process that we purchased that truck.
Right.
It's a 2006, but it should have been a 2002
Right.
when we purchased it.
The only comment about the firehouse is it's most of your cities you go into, they work out of Butler-type buildings.
And
And-
what do we have?
And we have a nice, really
We have a nice
fire
Butler-type building.
building.
Yeah.
Exactly,
What-
but it doesn't
it-
really look like it because
That's right,
it's
because
fixed up.
That's right. I mean, in its paint, you know, we get that comment all the time. Well, you have such a nice firehouse. Come in and look at the firehouse. So we encourage you to do that. Any Wednesday evening we're out there, you can come in and look. Anytime the doors are open, stop in and look. The Bay Area is a Butler
Butler
building.
building.
And guess what? On each side of it is a concrete block building. You can't get any cheaper construction than concrete block. And so because we have it painted nice and it looks nice, guess what?
Everybody
You know,
thinks, yeah.
everybody thinks it's a Taj Mahal. Is
Well,
the,
everybody
is the
has
quoted
to find
unquote.
something to gripe about.
Right.
They have
Oh, yeah.
to.
Well,
It's
and if
normal.
you don't understand that, you know, we've been to a lot of cities where it is just Butler buildings or
Sure.
old buildings, but they don't have them fixed up as nice as ours is.
So we got a nice paint job.
So, yeah. So anybody, any fire department out there wants their building to look nice, just kind of
Just
fix
call
it with paint.
our fire department, and they'll
Find
tell
out
you
how
how
you
to do
did
it.
it.
We might even help you. We might even help
Paint
you
it.
push a brush.
Well, it was a necessity to have that building out there because when
it's
you
pretty.
consider where we were downtown, if you had anything, you had something going on, you couldn't get out.
It was very, very difficult to
I
get
mean,
out.
your
And-
traffic, you
and-
couldn't get out
Hey,
downtown.
I
Yeah.
can remember Judafets from being on Judafet committee.
oh my gosh.
And the fire department had to move
Move
out, and they'd
everything.
have one over here and one over there, and, oh, man.
Well, and we had some
Yeah.
we had some questions too about why did you move so far away from us when we're up on in the park area? We actually measured the distances, and the distances in this ISO rating say that you can be so far away from your fire department. That's why we located in that area specifically, because we were in that distance from those folks up around the park. Now, if you look at Highway 61 North, there's nowhere to grow that way for
Yeah.
the city. There's nowhere to grow south on 61. The city has to grow out M Road and out Highway 32. So we're poised right there to accept that growth. And people say, well, you're in that terrible intersection. Well, most of the time we had to go through that intersection anyway. So we get it out of the way right away. And to be real honest, it's been very, very convenient for us to be there, so.
Yeah, that is the only bad thing. It's
Yeah.
with the hospital right there and a lot of traffic coming in. And
But
then the
we've
fire
really
department
really
or the fire
found out,
trucks going
we've really
through.
found that it's really has not been the issue that people think it is. So,
Yeah,
Okay.
because you have a lot of other outlets.
we do. We can go out Park Drive, we can go down Fourth, we can go 61 North and South, 32. So,
Yeah, and we live, I think, a mile and 7/10 from town, and we're out of the city limits,
right.
so.
Mhm.
So we're pretty close to it.
Can
Okay.
I pick on you for a minute?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay.
I got a hard skin.
Well, and here's another issue that, and this is all in this ISO stuff that people don't understand, but we
Right.
have to understand in this fire department. We had a question about this truck. Will this truck leave the city? And my answer to that question is yes or no. Yes and no. The primary response for this ladder truck will be in the city of St. Genevieve because that's where the fire load is. Now, ISO says that if we go out in the rural area, come to your house, to your fire, we have to leave a truck in town. So that's the truck we're going to leave in town. Sorry, you don't get that. Unless,
We don't get the new truck. We have to take the old thing.
unless.
But I don't have a
unless-
two-story
Yes,
house anyway,
that's
so I
correct.
don't care.
But that's unless one of my fire officers think there's a need to take that truck, then we'll leave another truck in town. But primarily, that truck will stay in town.
Okay.
If we don't replace that truck, we still need to take two trucks out of town because we have to have one that pumps water at your house and we have to have one that pumps water from a water source to the other truck.
Okay.
That means Mary Ann,
It's
her
gonna be
rates
in
are going to go
danger.
up because I'm taking two trucks out to Iris's house.
And
That's
Mary
all right,
Ann's going
Iris.
to be in danger.
That's all right, Iris, you can use my truck.
Thank you, Mary.
As
You're
long,
a good
as long as
friend.
she pays your insurance
You're a
rate.
good friend.
We
So,
allow
you
it.
know, so there's a lot of those things that are kind of washed into that ISO thing that are very, very difficult to understand. They don't make a lot of sense, but
It's hard to understand all
Now,
that.
was the explanation that you had on the PowerPoint pretty thorough where people will be able to understand
I
it?
hope
I
it
think
is,
it
yes.
was.
You know,
Okay.
and all of our firefighters have that information, so, and everybody knows my guys, so pick a guy out and grill it. Please, make up your mind.
Okay.
The biggest thing we looked at in this whole thing was, what is the fair thing to do? What is the most appropriate thing to do? Raising taxes? No. We're taxpayers too. We don't like raising taxes anymore. We don't like paying taxes any more than anybody else. But what we thought the fair thing was to do is to give you, the voters, the opportunity to tell us, like we say at the end of our presentation, it's not our fire department. It's your fire department. What
Yep.
do you want it to be? So, and I could sit here and bleed my heart and say, go out there and vote yes on April the 2nd.
Oh, I know- I know another question.
Just please, go vote.
Yeah, I know another question somebody presented to me. This one's kind of goofy, but anyway, all the signs that are out, yes, who paid for those?
The firefighters paid for those.
The firefighters
Yes,
paid for them.
yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And what
Wow.
and what we have is, like any organization, we have a slush fund that we buy our stuff out of.
Okay.
Things like that. And someone mentioned the fact that, well, you're supposed to have your name on them. We do have our name on them. You just have to look a little closer.
Just a little bit smaller.
That's right.
It's like all
Okay.
the things.
The fine
Look
point.
at the
Look at
fine
the
print.
Yes.
Okay, well, Mick, we want to thank you very much for being on the show.
And
I-
lots of luck with your,
Thank you two guys for
Yeah,
coming too.
Thanks for coming and being in our audience. We have Ryan Pollock benefit on the 16th out at A&K. That's a Saturday. The Art Guild has a reception from 6 to 9 on the 15th down at Main Street Inn. And the fourth Friday for the Art Guild is Friday the 22nd.
and ours won
2 prizes.
2 prizes.
Second.
So we
Woo!
have to give her honors too.
Yay!
Yes, you did, and I was there.
And we'll see you on March the
27th.
27th.
March the 27th. And we're going to have 3 little girls with some needlework.
Yes.
So be sure to tune in then because they're very talented little girls.
Ladies, thank you for
Thank you.
having us.
Well,
Oh,
we're
you're
happy.
Thank
welcome.
you guys for
Thank
coming.
guys.
We're here for you if you need us.
Good. I think we're still on, aren't we?
I
Yes,
think, and we're
yes.
not going to say anything
Nothing.
as long as,
We can see that. Okay. Anyway, did everybody notice our neat little bunny rabbits on the table? Mary Ann brought them, and they're real.
they're not real.
They are real chocolate, I can
They
tell.
are not real chocolate, I told
can-
you.
I can tell by looking at them.
Don't you be eating them. Oh,
I can't eat them. I gave up sweets for Lent.
well, after Lent,
I will. I'll stash it.
my grandson came in, he said, Grandma, can I have that chocolate? And I said, yeah. And his dad said, what'd you go ask Grandma for? And he said, nothing. Nothing. And I said, Jack, you're going to get Grandma in trouble again.
That's what grandmas are for.
Oh, I can't.